Welcome to this new podcast number 18. Today we will talk about women, particularly Ukrainian women, why the majority of men want an Ukrainian wife.
Looking for in a man?
Honest and successful with me.
What's your background?
I'm Ukrainian.
And what's your religious background?
I'm Christian.
Do you need a Ukrainian Christian or any background is fine?
Anyway,
And why should someone date you?
I'm honest. I'm so kind. And I don't know.
Nowadays, particularly in the West, we live in a society where the ratio between men and women is particularly unequal. There is more men than women. That's why the dating market is favorable for women but not for men. And what you should to understand is, for example, the majority of men who are aging to 30, 40, 50 years old, they're looking for and they target all the time the same woman between 20 to 30. And particularly in this range of age, a woman, for example, a random girl have an interaction to 5 men for 1 girl. That's why the ratio is totally unequal, and some men move abroad, particularly in Ukraine, because in Ukraine there is a reputation about beautiful women, and also not only about beauty, the physically, but also about mentality. They are more family oriented. The family value is more higher than the West, and that's why the majority of men tend to move to Ukraine, for example, or Belarus or Eastern Europe. Also, you must to understand, for example, in the West, only 20% of men are attractive for women by the vision of women. Those mean 80% of men, we are ghosted and invisible.
Modern women find 80% of men as unattractive. And so on dating apps, which people will argue that maybe people on dating apps aren't looking for something serious, but that's the number one way people meet. Women only swipe right 5% of the time, up to 20% on the high end in certain studies. So women are all sleeping with the same guys. So for guys that are in that percentage, it's like they just have an abundance of girls throwing themselves at them. And then the women will come back later and say men are trash, but that's who
I think we need to have a speed dating thing, me and you, girl.
A significant and growing number of men are beginning to understand the scam of the dating market in the West. Unfortunately, the divorce rate in the West is more higher and higher, causing by the low family value of women in the West. The problem is not the beauty of women in UK, in France, in United States or Canada, because the women there are really beautiful. The problem is the mentality, the low value. They don't have a value for family, and unfortunately they prioritize the career, and the divorce rate is more higher and higher years by years. And that's why men move abroad. And for example, in Ukraine, because Ukraine have the reputation, and they deserve this reputation, to have the most beautiful women in the world. Some of them say Ukraine, some of them say Belarus or another country like Lithuania. But for me, it's Ukraine. This is the country where the most beautiful women in the world are located. And there is a famous sentences that people say about Ukraine. I will show you the video and I will quit like this. That's the end of this podcast. Ciao, bye-bye.